Thanks for joining us this week in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we battle cold winds to catch a stunning sunrise and are treated to what might be the best sunset we've ever seen. The colors, the buildings, I don't know if the right word is perspective. We explore the charming streets of Ybor City, where city-protected chickens roam freely. Yep, you heard that right, chickens. Our daughter joins us for Christmas, and we have a close call in the kitchen that could have made things a lot toastier. And smoked so bad it literally smoked us out of this house. But just before we send her back home, we spend the day in St Petersburg and stumble across the coolest thing ever, a self-serve beer wall. The real fun, however, starts when our refrigerator gives up just days before Christmas, leaving us scrambling to save our food and trying to figure out if we can fix it or need a brand new one.
So, episode or two ago, we showed you a sunset when we were at the Camp Blanding in Florida. And we said, man, that was probably the best sunset we've ever seen. Well, it just got topped by this one. So the city in the background over there is St Petersburg, Florida. And as you can see, the sun went down, just to the left of the city there. That was probably the best sunset we've ever seen. Another reason that I'm glad that we left that nasty escapees park and got here early, because we would have missed that. And it's supposed to be cloudy for the next few days. So, although we're going to be here for a month, so we'll see what happens. But what do you think? Best one yet?
I would probably say so. Yeah, the colors, the buildings, I don't know if the right word is perspective, but yeah, really pretty.
And one of these mornings we'll get out here with our donuts and we'll watch a sunrise. The sunrise should be, sorry, making you dizzy, should be right over there somewhere.
If somebody doesn't eat all the donuts first.
I don't know what you're talking about. They are about half gone, but I have no idea where they're going. I think it's a dog.
Oh, the dog's getting in there?
I think he is.
Okay.
I think that's what he does when he hops off the bed at night. He's going to get donuts.
He opens the cabinet, uses his opposable thumbs.
You've seen those videos of those dogs getting beer out of the fridge? Yep,
yeah.
That's what I think. All right, this is the other side of it. So this is the sunrise over here. I don't think it's going to come over the water. But it is freaking cold out here.
Yes.
And the wind's blowing at 20 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? I think it was 47 when we walked out here with 20 mile an hour winds. I don't know what the wind chill is, but my hand is frozen. But we're catching the sunrise this morning, and a little idea we stole from a different channel is we brought donuts too.
Donuts, coffee, a blanket,
Yep.
my ears, our hoodies.
Yep. Freaking freezing. Well, not freezing, but it's pretty daggone cold out.
It shouldn't be this cold in Florida.
Yeah.
So we came down to Ybor City because Wicket needed to be groomed, and this was fairly close by. And our first restaurant choice didn't work out because it was just really busy and kind of expensive and just kind of not our jam. So we found this Barria taco thing, really good. And there are chickens everywhere out here. Because this is a predominantly Cuban area, but they're just out.
But I've never seen chickens just wandering around aimlessly throughout an entire city.
There was even a mama, I think Jeremy got it on video too, but a mama with 3 babies.
Yep.
And I might have had to put one in my purse.
Nope. right, before this video goes any farther, we just want to say we really haven't recorded a lot since we've been here in Tampa. Huh?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. So we've got family down here, so my uncle and his girlfriend are down here. Sam came to visit us for a little while, plus there were the holidays this month. So we just didn't do a lot.
We had good intentions.
Yeah, we had good intentions. It's been more relaxing than anything and just spending time with family. But we did want to show you some of the highlights that were here. The big highlight is coming up here in just a few minutes with our refrigerator. We had some refrigerator issues. We'll get to that. That sucked.
Yeah.
So let's talk Christmas. Christmas, we didn't really do a lot.
We didn't, and we don't tend to do a lot anyway for Christmas, so it wasn't that out of the norm. So we went down to Jeremy's uncle's place down in Palmetto and picked Sam up the day before. We stayed for a couple days and had a really good dinner. We had all the fixings: ham, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes and gravy, and sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, but let's not forget about the best part, though, was the turkey and the ham were smoked. So we smoked, it was actually a pretty good sized ham.
Yes.
And a really small
It was just a turkey breast.
Just a turkey breast. So we smoked that. So we had the normal spread. We had a lot of food.
Yes.
Too much for 5 people.
Holy crap, that's a lot of stuffing. Holy moly. How many people are we feeding?
5, but this and the mashed potatoes with the gravy are almost like the best part of Thanksgiving, Christmas, holiday.
But the highlight for actual Christmas Day was
The dessert fiasco. So roll it.
What are you doing? That looks like a crime.
This is an Irish chocolate cream cheesecake with actual Irish cream in it. Oh. And unfortunately, my brand new pan here leaked butter all over the bottom of the oven and smoked so bad it literally smoked us out of this house.
It was like it was going to catch on fire.
Yeah. Our eyes were burning. The dog was shaking. It was bad. And we pulled this out and tasted it, but it smells chemically. So here's my brand new pan and the cheesecake. Yeah.
Okay, so that was our Christmas. So like Candace said, we went down there the night before Christmas Eve. We picked Sam up from the airport, went straight down to Palmetto, spent the night, had Christmas, came back. And then we had another 5 days with Sam. We did some cool stuff there. When you check into the campground down here, they give you this like punch card of things that are free while you're here. There's some golf cart rentals in there, some bucket of balls, 3 buckets of balls a month, and
6 hours of bowling.
6 hours worth of bowling.
For up to 6 people, and the only thing you have to pay is your shoe rental.
Yeah, so we got to do some bowling with Sam, and she's like, oh, I'm no good at bowling. Very first ball. Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good time.
Sam was asking, have you ever bowled before?
It's been a few years.
And then we went to Ybor City with Sam. We went back to Ybor City because we'd been there once already. That was okay. We actually started off with the river walk, which was just kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Went to Ybor City. It was okay going back a second time. It was really dead when we were there.
Oh, yeah.
But then we went to St. Pete.
All right, today better be better. Today's the St. Pete Pier.
Yes.
Can't be any worse than the river walk.
There's restaurants and shops.
Yeah, lots of places to go spend my hard-earned money.
We're not going to do like shopping. I figured we get maybe share an appetizer, get a couple of drinks, something like that.
Like I said, spend all my money.
Anyway, today's going to be better because I can already tell this is a more interesting location.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Now, how you know something important is coming? It's when you started out with y'all. We just went to the most amazing restaurant ever.
Your choice. You're welcome.
And it had nothing to do with the food. They had a wall of beer.
Self-serve beer.
A wall of self-serve beer. All you had to do is walk up, scan your wristband, and pour whatever you want. And it charged you by the ounce. So if you only wanted like 2 ounces at like 50 cents an ounce,
It's $1.
it's $1.
And the prices were on there because each beer was a different price. And it told you, like, okay, this one's 63 cents. This one's
Yeah, and I would say that the
47 cents.
average price was about 50 cents
Yeah.
per ounce. So, you know, you get a 10-ounce beer, it's $5.
Yeah.
And it was good beer. It was all like
beer.
craft beer. So,
Yeah.
Oak and Stone,
Oak and Stone here in St. Petersburg.
if you're ever here, you have got to check it out because they had darks, reds, ambers,
Ciders,
ciders,
seltzers,
sours, seltzers, and IPAs. You name it, they have it. They even had the cheap American beer. What was it?
I think it was Michelob.
So they had some Michelob that you could get by the ounce if you wanted to. So anyway, you got to check it out. Oak and Stone in St. Petersburg. Okay, so St. Petersburg, much better. St. Pete, yes, as the locals call it, much better than the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Did a little extra research this time,
yeah,
you know.
so she's only batting 500 though.
I normally pick good stuff.
I know.
I have the occasional.
So anyway, there's lots to do here in St. Pete. Lots of restaurants, lots of bars, right? Get some cocktails.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting people to watch. Lots of dogs going around in strollers. If that tells you anything about the area. So I would come back here again.
Absolutely. Dolphins,
Yep.
people, restaurants,
Liquor,
liquor.
dogs.
Pretty.
Yeah. So, all right. That's it. We're done. Peace. Okay, so now let's talk about that stupid refrigerator. We didn't really sequence it or talk through it very well in some parts. So just wanted to give you the quick sequence. So we initially noticed some weird things going on with the refrigerator. So number one, it was cooling way too much. I think the refrigerator got down to like 18 degrees. The freezer got way colder than it was supposed to be. Then we noticed the lights blinking. Then we noticed the ice maker wasn't working. It started beeping at us just randomly, like the door was open. And then eventually it just stopped cooling, period. And we ended up having to get some mini fridges to put in here because we had to unload everything. Otherwise we were gonna lose the whole refrigerator. So once we realized we had a problem, we have some friends that have the same exact refrigerator. They've actually got the same exact rig, and I'd been talking back and forth with him, and he talked about how he had several issues with his control board on his refrigerator. So that's kind of the route that we went down to begin with. We wanted to look at that and see if we could see anything obviously wrong with it. Then we had a technician come out. He looked at a couple of things. We called Lippert, we called Grand Design, and then just by coincidence, and I'll get into it more in just a minute, but just by coincidence, we were able to get our hands on a different board, and I replaced that board. Oddly enough, at 4:30 in the morning, I couldn't sleep, so I just got up and I came out here and replaced that board. And that's ultimately what our issue was. So I wanted to just kind of preface this next segment with that sequence of events so it makes a little bit more sense as you watch it. What we're gonna try and do here is just gonna pull this thing out, try to anyway, I don't know, and try and get access to the control board on the back of this thing and maybe check the status of any fuses that we can, do some continuity checks across the fuses, make sure we don't have any bad fuses. So that's the goal. There's a little strip of wood at the bottom of the freezer here, below the freezer. We gotta take the screws out of that because that's what keeps the bottom end from walking out when you're underway. Anyway, that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Board out, so that was no easy task in itself. So now I think it should just come right out.
This island's gonna be a pain because I think it's gonna have to come all the way out up against the island, which isn't gonna give me much room behind the fridge. Okay, so that's not good. So the cable going back into the fridge, if I pull it out anymore, I'm gonna start pulling cables out of here. This is all I need to get into, but there are screws here that I'm not gonna be able to get to because they're still underneath here. But I can't pull this out any farther.
Okay.
All right, Candace has got the tiny arms, so she's trying to squeeze in there to get that screw out. That's bad lighting, but there we go. So there's one screw right in there. Looks like she's able to turn it. I almost got my arm stuck in there a while ago. Okay, so there's one screw. All right, so we'll see if I can get this last one out of here. There we go. All right,
I thought my wrist was gonna break.
there it goes. All right. Oh, it may never go back on.
Do you see anything that's like
No.
singed, loose? Like,
Nope.
nothing obvious.
Nope. Got the cover off for the control board. Just did a quick visual on it. Took a picture of it. Quick visual. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong. The first thing I noticed is the fans aren't running. Don't know if they're supposed to be running. So I'll have to find that out. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn this thing off. And then I'm going to go pull the fuses in the fuse box. Take power away from all of this. And I'm going to pull those fuses out and we're going to check them. Those are the only two fuses I see in there. There's a couple of 40 amp fuses, so we're going to check those. Close enough. Okay, fridge is off. Let's go remove the fuses. All right, so there's the first fuse. Checking continuity there. We are good. Okay, second fuse. And you can see it looks good. I mean, I can tell it looks good, but you never know. Whoa, maybe not. Oh, yep. There it is. All right, fuses are good. So at least I know nothing still. Now, no clue. I'm probably gonna have to do some research and find out if anybody else is having the same problem as me, but you know how it is going through all those internet forums, the boards. I don't like doing that because there's a lot of people who think they know what's going on and they don't. All right, so let's put this back together. And this is gonna be to be continued.
The next day.
Okay, so we're several days later now, but that's not as bad as it sounds. The refrigerator is now working. So we had a technician come out. Well, first of all, we called Grand Design. We told them what we thought the problem was. They still wanted a technician to come out and look at it. He did a bunch of stuff. I told him all the symptoms. We have flashing lights inside. The ice maker doesn't work. It's not getting cold. It dings at us randomly. So gave all of those symptoms to him. Went over the history of this refrigerator, not this one specifically, but this model, with the control boards that tend to go bad. So he kind of troubleshot a little bit, but he got to a spot where he needed to call Lippert. We told them that we had taken an ammeter reading on the compressor to see how much current that compressor was drawing. So we had a DC ammeter on it. It was drawing like 36 amps or something, which is way too much for that compressor. The compressor itself was about 135 degrees. Lippert said 135 degrees at the compressor and 35 amps is way too much. He said we could stop the troubleshooting because that was enough for them to say that we needed a whole new refrigerator. Okay, I wasn't convinced. So, just totally by coincidence, there was somebody else in the park who was getting a new refrigerator because their previous refrigerator had developed a coolant leak, and so they had to get a whole new fridge. So the technician was kind enough to give us that board and swap the board out on this thing, and now it works perfectly. So what we're doing today is we're going to take everything out of the fridge. We've already got it rolled forward a little bit, but we want to take everything out of the fridge to get some weight off of it so we can, so I've got to pull this whole thing out and then it's got to twist so that I can get behind it. So we're going to take everything out just to try and prevent damaging the floor. But what we want to do is I want to get another ammeter reading on that compressor while it's running. And then I also want to take an IR reading on the compressor to make sure that it's not super hot. 135 degrees is obviously way too much. So that's what we're going to do. I think once we verify that we no longer have excessive current and excessive temperature on that compressor, we can say that this thing has been fixed. Now, the last part of this is I don't know that we've got the latest revision of that control board. So hopefully so Grand Design is going to send us a new one, and hopefully that one will be the latest revision and we won't have to worry about this anymore. And then one more issue we have to try and resolve is this thing should have according to Lippert, this thing should have a 6-gauge wire going to it all the way from the fuse panel to the refrigerator. Now, all I know right now is there's a pigtail back there that has 12-gauge wire on it, which is obviously not nearly big enough for the amp draw that this thing carries. So we still have to resolve that with Grand Design. So that's where we're at right now. We do have a working refrigerator, which is nice, but there's still several issues that we have to get resolved. So anyway, we're gonna get started on unloading this refrigerator, get it turned around so I can get all this done and just be done with this for now. So we got this thing pulled out, obviously, and I've got the clamp-on ammeter on there. It's reading about 6 amps. It is on DC amps, so that's far less than what it was reading before we swapped out that board. So that's a plus, and it's also notably cooler. You couldn't touch this the other day before we swapped out that board, and I'm able to leave my hand on there. So that was reading about 135 degrees the other day, and now it's reading about 108. I mean, that's, you know, when we're just comparing to what it read the other day, that was reading about 135, 136 degrees. So I think we can safely say that all this back here is now functioning as it should. No longer am drawing too much current on this thing. That board issue seems to have been what the problem was. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit back here. At some point, I think we spilled a drink with some bourbon cream or maybe some Carolans in it. So we're going to clean that up. I think I'm going to try and vacuum those coils off a little bit. And then we're going to put this thing back together, slide it in, get all the food back in it, and we'll be done for now. So I just want to close this out by saying, if you have one of these 12-volt DC fridges from Furrion and things start to go wonky, I would look at the card first. That'd be the first place I start. Now, obviously, if there's an obvious coolant leak or something like that, that's different. But like our fridge, things just started to go south kind of gradually. I wouldn't say gradually, but in stages or in steps. If you've got these issues, any of these issues, or any issues at all with this thing that just seem kind of weird, I would start here. These are a known problem with these Furrion 12-volt refrigerators. So that's it. For real, this time, done with the fridge. Until next time, till we get this card replaced. If we run into anything funky, we'll let you know about that as well. We'll also keep you updated on what we find out about the wiring when we get the answer as to what Grand Design wants to do.
All right, so our time here in Tampa is ending. We've been sitting here for just a little over a month, and now we are going to make our way to Brownsville, Texas, where some of our friends are eagerly awaiting our arrival. So it's going to take us about 4 weeks, and we're just going to kind of hop our way over there. And we're pretty excited, but at the same time, we've been sitting for a month, so things are just discombobulated. We're out of our routine. So, I don't know, we've got some fun stuff for the next 2 days to get ready to hit the road again, but we're excited.
So, having said all of that, we're going to wrap this up. I hope you got something out of the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're down there. Make sure you hit the bell button so that you're notified when our future videos
Yep.
come out.
And as always, happy camping and stay safe out there.